Hello students, today I'll talk about power in international politics. Now how power basically is analyzed in international relation. If you look at power is a political concept which has been analyzed by different philosophers differently. Now if you look at power, the meaning of power, the power implies capacity to influence. जो power है इसका मतलब होता है capacity to influence others behavior, influence others behavior, right? Or to shape, capability to shape others preferences or to control thought process. That is called power. Power also means domination. Power also means domination. Power also means control, right? So if you are controlling other, it means you have power over other. Now look at how this concept power is analyzed in international politics by different philosophers. Now if you look at the first term that I'll talk about is national power. Now what is national power? National power is just a sum of all forms of power a country possesses. Now consider a country has a large territory. Large territory. Now look at large territory is also power. Yeah, it is a symbol of power. But it is not the only power that nation has. Then you have natural resources. Natural resources. केवल large territory होने से नहीं होगा, right? अगर natural resources है, it will contribute to your power. Then technology. How technology is advanced in that country, that also contributes in power. Then look at what is the population, right? But population here again केवल population से नहीं होगा. अगर वो population, if that population is basically well educated and healthy, then that population is very much a resource. But sometimes population is a liability. So depends on if your population is youth, qualified, right, and competent, then it contributes in national power. Then look at economic growth. Economic growth. Now if your economic growth is consistent and high, right, for the long period of time, that means that country is growing. Look at China. How China's economic growth has basically become vital for its national power. Let me give you an example. In 2001, the US was 15 times larger than China in terms of economy. I repeat, the US economy was 15 times larger than Chinese economy in 2001. But if I talk about today, in 2026, now China and US, right, there is a very less difference between them in terms of economy. The US is only 1.5 times larger than the Chinese economy. So look at how China emerged as a powerful country because of their economic growth. Now similarly, if you look at in 2001 and onwards, if you look at there are emerging economy like here India, Brazil, right? These are the emerging economy. Russia, right? So economic growth is important in national power. Now apart from it, if you look at leadership, now if you look at leaders play a very vital role in shaping nations foreign policy. So if leader is determined, very decisive, and very much open to the world, right, and which can provide the leadership to the country, it basically enhances image of that country. Now look at, for example, US leadership, right? how Woodrow Wilson or Roosevelt or Nixon, basically, if you look at, created the image of the US worldwide. Look at in case of India, how Nehru has actually shaped India's foreign policy and created an image of India towards the world. Now, apart from leadership, if you look at the another factors which contributes in national power, right? That is a defense forces. Defense. Now, defense is also major in terms of national power. Now, defense means your air power, your army, your air power, and then naval power, right? So, this defense forces contributes in your national power. Then, if you look at, public public institution, right, and values, public institutions and values. What values that country has? For example, look at, India's civilizational value, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, or Sarve Bhavantu Sukhna, or Biswa Bandhutva. Now that India focuses on, right? And look at the public institution India has, like you have legislature, executive, and judiciary. Now look at the Supreme Court of India. This is one of the most powerful Supreme Court of the world, right, around the world. And India's Supreme Court judgment as seen as a, vital in several countries, right? So look at the public institutions. We have political party, democracy, rule of law, right? That contributes national power of a country. So national power is very important to understand international relation, how power operates, in international politics. So look at national power is a one concept in international politics. Now, to understand what is the soft power and hard power, now I'll discuss in the next video. Thank you so much.